first experience with the quote-unquote being slain in spirit. But I mean, the Bible doesn't call us that. I mean, it's just when your body is so overwhelmed by the glory of God, you don't know how to react.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, that's why I said like every knee, when we sing, every knee will bow. Like your body is going to come into alignment with the greatness, with the authority of God.
Welcome to the show. We about to drop some knowledge. The Mr. Howard Sanders with the brother Coach Obasi. Superheroes, conversation about the real. They try to keep it clean, but let's express how you feel. Good spirit, good about no hatred or no hate. We all in the same gang, I'm changing better days. The prophet of the truth, initials POT. No price tag on this knowledge, you can get it for the free. We one to teach one the old and the young. We got it by the spirits with the power of the tongue. I'm on the inside looking out, they on the outside looking in. Keep it cordial, don't explore. They call them family, call them friends. You pursue what you can do is show love, count your bliss. Life is hard, but it's fair, and it comes with some lessons. Mental power for an hour, and some knowledge come to God. Important people, different topics, not that daily garbage gossip.
Oh, we on.
Listen,
Whatever you all do, make sure you going on in the city. But before we get started, I'll let my
teach one, community strong.
bring us in. Go right ahead.
Hey, yo, I'm your guest host, co-host, hostess with the mostest, Zach Service. And I'm here joined by another amazing superhero, my younger, not quite as handsome, but still just as awesome brother, Luke Service. But he may get more girls than me because I'm married and he's not. So, single ladies, if you're out there, you love the Lord and you're not with that drama, hit him up. He's a good man. He won't mess you over. He'll do you right. But we have a guest superhero, Luke Service, in the building. We're excited. And we're also joined on the couch by the infamous, the well-known, the amazing Coach Obasi.
Yes.
And also joined in the studio by his son, Chris, the man with the plan, holding up his hand.
Little Chris.
Y'all thought I didn't have bars for you this morning, but I came ready. Back to you, Howard.
Hey, you know what? When you got great people around you, you'll be surprised the great results you'll get. So I just want to thank the servicemen for coming out and spending a little time with us. And it's going to be, it's really going to be about Zach. Anything you got to chime in on over there, Coach?
I just want to let everybody know that we're excited for what's going on today. We have the SERP training that's going on. It's community emergency response.
Last day.
Yes, last day of training.
Last day.
Training started Friday, and it's very important to understand about when a disaster happens, you need to have people ready and prepared to go and face any type of challenge when a disaster happens. So we're going to just shout out to Brother Kareem Muhammad with the LOC, Local Organizing Committee, what they're doing to make people informed about disasters and how they can get them prepared for disaster. So really excited about what's going on in the community.
And we want to make sure community takes advantage, that they're engaged, because this comes along, like I think we're doing this once a quarter.
Yeah, once a quarter.
So the line's going to be long of people that need assistance. So do you want to be on the side where the line is long, or do you want to be on the side of the table where you're actually extending the assistance? We also want to thank the sponsors.
Yes.
Because they get a plethora. Did I say that correctly?
You got a plethora.
I did okay.
You did great.
Look at ZS. You see it? Yeah, you did okay. There's a plethora of information. You get a bag, you get a helmet, you get some gloves, but you have access to the team, which means when something pops off, we are the first responders, because the responders will not be as quick to arrive as we are.
Right.
So please, when this comes out, the LOC, please take advantage. Please take advantage of the CERT training. That's Community Emergency Response Training. Coach, thank you so much. I've got Curtis William, Project Humanity over there.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get Zach involved in about on the next class.
Yes.
All we ask is that when you do participate, just purchase a hat and a T-shirt. I think that's about a $30 investment. So, all right, what else we got going on today? We got the Pop and Network from 1 to 7. There's a lot of events going on in the city of Jackson. We want to thank all of those who have done giveaways.
Yes.
The Christmas, they did a Christmas. Did you see that, Zach? The Christmas in July?
Yes, that was
Chris
amazing.
Cooper and Joseph Holiday.
Really?
Man, I'm talking about some real toys.
Oh, that's lit.
Real toys. They had a boy section. Excuse me, they had a young men's section.
Yeah.
Then they had a young lady section.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of giveaways. But today at 1 o'clock from 1 to 7, food, drinks, giveaway prizes, live music, space jumps for the kids. The security is strictly enforced. This is going to occur at the Southern Styles 2714 Greenway Drive, Suite B, Jackson, Mississippi, located in the Rimtime parking lot across from Walmart on Highway 18. And they're going to have some real... Is that a horse sound?
That was a good one. That's better than
okay?
mine.
I did okay?
Yeah,
That was real
great.
good.
Okay.
misread in
Also,
this
some
book.
of the vendors is going to be that some of the investors. We're not doing vendors. Investors, TNT Concessions, O'Kee's Insurance Agency. Hey, guys, you'd be surprised the cost of life insurance for your baby.
Yes.
You'd be surprised, $25,000, $30,000, $40,000.
Yeah.
Pennies on a dollar.
It's not crazy
We
at all.
call it death protection.
Death
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah.
So the GoFundMe and on the corners, all you have to just sacrifice $10 a month.
That's it.
And you'll be surprised a peace of mind. And we're not wishing death on anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, also we got SMD, that Snapman Designs, Pretty Girls, Ken Cook, Mob Control. You got Fly, which is one of their big sponsors. And then you've got Chef Phillips. And that's going to be the day from 1 till 7. And they're also going to be giving away school supplies. I think there's another event in conjunction with that one in the same location. I think Miss Cheesy, that little lady has gone national,
How about
global,
that?
huh?
How about that?
You know what I'm speaking about?
I know exactly.
Yeah,
what
she
you're
has gone global with her lion dance. It's amazing how you can take an idea and really push it.
Yes.
Mr. Service, superhero, Luke Service, what do you think about taking an idea and pushing it?
Well, it takes a lot of courage to step out on something if you're the one that initiates it. It's one of
Wow.
the things I respect about, for one, you having a podcast, or Zach, when, like, any of the things he's pursued, because, a lot of, especially American society, is kind of set up for you to conform to the system. And a lot of it, everybody forgets everything is ran by people. It's like, yes, there's entities, organizations, there's the government, there's this, there's that. At the end of the day, it's another person
Right.
that's same composition as you, that's making these choices. So for pushing an idea, I don't know, it's a lot of vision, and also the respect for whatever it is that you want to do, to have enough details and enough of a plan to where if you got other people that you want to come aboard, they can, and Zach, I know you know the scripture, the whole, what is it, like, make the vision plain so folks can run with it or whatever.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. But then too, it's like, also for whatever idea you have, sometimes, stuff does or doesn't work depending on other people and what state of mind in life that they're in. Because you could have the exact thing that people need, and they just not be able to really participate in it because there's kind of some other things like blocking them from being able to.
Wow.
Well, like, let's say in the case of like just good stuff happening, like blessings or whatever.
Truth.
A lot of folks can't really, a lot of folks don't have a hard time asking for help, and receiving help. And a lot of times that's because you feel, guilty because you weren't able to make stuff happen yourself. And there could be something there that would fix your situation and that would help you get ahead. But you're in a place to where you haven't processed, how you feel about your own failure to be able to move on to what's next. And
That's some grown folk stuff he just said.
Yeah, don't let the age fool you.
Psychoanalyzing is. I
Hey,
love
go
it. I
ahead,
love
go
it.
ahead,
Yes.
go ahead.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen it play out because my dad, he always tries to raise us spiritually correct and to have good work ethic and stuff like that. But for him, everything that he put his energy into ended up all kind of falling apart because he worked for ministry for a while, got fired, and he's been in a midlife crisis for the past 5 to 6 years. And so I've seen his life and how it's gone. I've seen my mom and what she cared about and how it's gone. And I've seen my older brother step out and try to do things differently and not let the negativity and the stuff that kind of held our family back prevent him from making progress. And I'm not from Mississippi. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. But being out here, you see, it seems like there's a lot of folks that are very stuck. And there's also a lot of folks that have a hard time really embracing people that want to move forward because a lot of times, and I know I'm saying a lot of different things, but
But it's all coming together though, brother.
Yeah.
It's all,
You're on
you're
point.
giving us a picture behind the scenes that we had no idea. But keep sharing with us.
Cool. Yeah, because there's a lot of folks that want somebody, and I experienced a lot of this myself when my brother got kicked out when he was 18 and I was 16.
So that story is true. I thought Zach was just using it as his fluff. You never know when he's bringing the real deal. Go ahead.
It's true. We both got Zach got kicked out twice. I got kicked out once.
I can see Jack getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Did Zach look over his shoulder and say, "You coming with me?" Nah, I'm good. You go ahead on. That's yours.
It's unfortunately the most traumatizing thing I went through because it was when I was 15. And if Zach's explained the story before, but I'll explain it again for anybody that hasn't heard.
From your vision board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, often my dad, he was continuously either just minorly derogatory towards my brother or even worse and belligerent. And he was physically abusive to us when we were young children. It continued longer with my older brother than it did me for whatever reason it was. But when I was 15, there was some random day that my dad got pissed off about my brother just for the dumbest things because my dad, unfortunately, there's nobody to check him in the household. So he, what he did was what was, and, it's...
There's no accountability.
Yeah, and so it's just like, he got mad, and we were, like, in the kitchen or whatever. I can't remember what day of the week it was. It might have been, like, a Saturday. We were just eating breakfast, and my dad had been out mowing in the heat and was kind of already just pissed off because of that.
Right.
Yeah, and, so my brother just was like, he kind of barked at my older brother to go, like sweep up the grass or whatever, and like my brother was walking by to do it, and it was either not fast enough or whatever, and my dad like shoved him to the ground, and my brother kept on walking further, and he shoved him to the ground again, and there might be a detail too that I don't even remember from what Zach said.
Yeah, he shoved him into the fridge too.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and my entire body was like on alert because I'd always had
freeze.
Yeah, and I'd seen different things happen before, but this was it had been years since I'd seen anything like that, and it's just, I think it was like the third or fourth time I saw him push him. I really thought, like, it wasn't even like conscious thought, it was more my body was like, I don't think he's gonna stop this time.
Right.
And so
How old were you?
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah, and for me, like, largely, and it's now a dominant characteristic of me as a young adult, I'm very non-confrontational because of the way that I grew up, because it was confrontation could lead to violence. And not that he was consistently violent, it's just there's enough of that element to where it's like I never challenged anything, basically.
Right. Because
I knew what the deal would be. And so this time when I did, I just, like, my dad was facing Zach while Zach was on the ground. All I did was put my hand on my dad's shoulder because that's all I could muster the strength to do. And he turned around to me and told me to, like, am I allowed to curse or not curse?
Yeah, it's your show, brother.
Okay.
Hey, I don't know what your brother going, but you know what, you your own man.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. What did dad
Well,
say?
the exact words were, like, back the fuck off and stuff like that. And I all I could muster was, and my mom was telling me to back up and stuff and leave it alone. And all I could say was no, because I mean, and then my dad, grabbed me by the throat, pushed me up against the fridge, held me there for about 5-6 seconds.
Darth Vader style.
Off of my feet.
He wanted to resonate.
I
was
find
off
your lack of
felt
faith
like 2
disturbing.
days.
Yeah, I was off my feet and everything, man, and it was a interesting sensation. But then he let me go, and then proceeded to tell us to get out of the house, and then rant about how I would never do that to my dad. Well, maybe you fucking should have. It's like, I get it too, because you're a scared kid and whatever, but I mean, you can't demonically call the next generation evil and wrong because you say, no, this isn't right and this should stop. And it's one of the things that's tough about my dad, because I have love for him and whatnot.
Right.
But it's like, you did stuff that is insane and cannot be defended. And it's like, he deals with a lot of guilt because of it, and I get it, because for me, I've had a lot of anger issues and stuff and had to try hard not to act, out of turn and whatnot. But it's like, I don't know. It's like things are what they are, and progress can't be had until folks actually, like, sit down and admit, okay, it was this way. You can't downplay stuff forever if you're ever gonna, like, move forward.
That's facts.
But yeah, so all that.
That was, hey, you know what? This is a great show
So
already.
you thought I made anything I said up. He gave way more details than I
No,
ever did.
you know, Zach, during the campaign trail, we heard your side of the story.
Yeah.
We heard your story.
Yeah.
But to have someone to come in and add another perspective or presence to the story.
It's crazy.
Coach, I heard Luke say that he still had love for his dad.
Right.
How can that be articulated to the viewing and the listening audience that regardless of dad going through his growing moments,
Right.
he's got love for his. So we're not bad-mouthing the parenting. We're not shaming the parenting because parents have their own ideology and their own presence, their own space.
They do.
I can see Zach walking across there like, you know. So Dad, like, I got to check this.
Yeah.
But give us a little insight on the love that Luke just communicated about Dad.
Well, see, the word love in terms of what the word means, it means sacrifice, right? So he still wanted to sacrifice for his dad because he had love, but he had also an attachment with his dad as well. So that attachment, it wasn't a secure attachment, but it was an attachment that made him respect his dad. But that particular incident, he had no love for the incident. So it wasn't not the love for his dad. He still has that regardless. It's like me and my wife, if we get in a fight, you know, I might not love her at that time. I might not like her at that time. But at the same time, it's an element that causes us to have the root cause of why we get together, why we have a relationship.
Yeah.
In that particular case here, me as a therapist, I talk to young people all the time about what their parents did to them. It shaped how their view of life is, right?
Yeah.
But since it shapes your view, the language that you have to understand now as an adult cannot be the same language you had when you was 15.
That's right.
The same mindset at 15, that protective factor is going to be there because it's in your subconscious mind. However, the process of getting over the trauma that you experience, you have some way to escape from it, right? So I saw we had a lot of laughter this minute. Everybody was laughing.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can either do two things: you can laugh, you can cry,
Yep.
or you can just process what's going on. And so, lots of times, your dad's age and my age group, we don't know how to process because we was taught by our elders to lie.
Yeah.
Now, when I say this, man, people they always challenge me, but I'm gonna bring it to a perspective so people can understand that when that age group, 50 or older, you do what I say do when I say do it, and don't ask any questions.
Yep.
It's no way impossible that I could have raised my children that way, but I attempted to do that, and it didn't work. Now, understanding the millennials right now, when you talk to them in that way, they always question. Now, I don't really have a problem when millennials question me. My thing is this here. I have an issue when parents don't allow the millennials to question what's going on because if the child does not have their voice and choice, they're gonna find a way to get their voice and choice.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna listen to them, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I like the way you're talking about your experiences, but as a 15-year-old going to now as a 20-year-old, that's a 5-year gap, right? And that 5-year gap. In that 5-year gap, check this out, because every 5 years we change, whether we like it or not, right? There was something significant in the change that caused you to be more calmer, be more professional, and be on point with what you're doing right now. So I'm very impressed by how you're articulating yourself, and you're not allowing that trauma to be the language you're speaking of today, presently.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, you bring up a lot of great points, and
I thought it was long-winded. No, I'm just teasing. But you should brought up a lot of great points. Go right ahead. I'm the comedian on the show. Go ahead.
No, that's funny. Folks will find out like how long I will talk about certain things. I try to always like balance it to what I say and giving somebody else enough time.
But it's always good content, though. Like we just sit on my couch and have these kind of conversations with nobody watching. So this is this is what we do.
Yeah, because I mean, life moves at a pretty fast pace a lot of the times, and you can go a long period of time and just kind of drag along what you're dragging along with. It's one of the what's considered like the greatest qualities to have as a man, the ability to essentially, deal with stuff and keep moving forward. But at a certain point, it starts, like you referenced families and whatnot. At a certain point, if you don't take the proper amount of time to completely deal with stuff, it starts affecting relationships in a severe way. And
Wow.
that was the case with my dad. It's really everything we experienced, which is also why you speak about like the attachment and stuff like that. You know, I'm not certified in any ways, but I've learned about the attachment styles, and for me, it's that I think the anxious avoidant or something like that, because it's that I love this person and want to be around this person, but I don't know when my safety is going to be jeopardized.
Right.
Because there was a lot of good in the relationship, and it was more really with me and my younger brother than my older brother, because my older brother was just an odd personality to where my dad grew up in New Jersey. It's like, folks, your friends, you know, said comments about. So my mom's from California, and her family's an entirely different dynamic. So it's like,
Although both Italian sides of families.
yes, that's true. That is true.
A lot of Italian. That's why we move hands a lot.
Yeah, but our mom wasn't. She was very she was very quiet, very very responsible, very she was really good at planning and structure. And so, you know, for us as children, we had the mix of a dad our dad's hilarious. He's very intelligent. It's the reason he's also too. That's another thing I'll credit for him. Our ability to conversate and connect with adults and whatnot is because of our dad and all the conversations he had with us. And he never, even though he wasn't honest about himself as a person always, because he didn't have that with his dad, where you really talked about what you felt to your kids, because you got to be strong for them and stuff. But when it came to life topics, there was nothing that we wouldn't talk about. You know, we watched our dad always loved watching war movies. We watched all sorts of different things. But yeah, so I don't remember why I got on all this.
You know the beautiful thing about the show. Go ahead, Coach.
No, you was talking about, you said ancient attachment.
Oh yeah.
And avoidant attachment. You was talking about that. You was giving us a picture of your view of it.
Yeah.
How it affected you and your relationship, and then how it matriculate from being 15 to 20 to 25. And you go through that cycle of growth and development, how you process things. And it may sound totally different, but what I like about this conversation, it gives our listeners an opportunity to see if they're 15 years old, if they're 20 years old, if they're 25 years old, to see how you process that. Because when a person has anxious or just ambivalent way of looking at the attachment with a person, there are some qualities that person has that shapes them as an adult, from a child to an adult. So I'm interested in hearing how you are now operating, it seems, with a sense of stability as an adult, even though you face those issues as a teenager.
Yeah. Well, I once again, I just appreciate to be able to have like a spot to where I can talk about these things, because I think about this stuff all the time. Like you said, I spent a lot of time and a lot of work to not just get over things, but to process things so that I can be there for the people in my life. The biggest thing for me that's affected me about the way that our household was and how things go or how things went is I don't feel emotionally connected to anybody, including even my brother. Like that's it was difficult for me when he was running for office for Jackson Mayor, because I wanted it to be there to support him, but my own like emotions and body constantly, I was having to like force myself to do it. Because also, unfortunately, and one of the things about my dad that's where character-wise he really like was bad was he kind of tried to poison us against our older brother because of how he felt about him. And I also did, you know, when my brother ultimately got kicked out at 18, I felt, even though rationally I knew that wasn't my brother's fault, like I knew and I never blamed him for it.
Right.
But my body and my emotions, I felt betrayed because I didn't have friends.
Right.
I didn't have anybody I could go to. And there's a lot of my life I've lost and I can't get back. And it's, you know, it's tough to be 25 and one of the chief things that defines me as a person is like the grief that I carry with me and can't get over.
That is powerful.
Because a lot too, like, I mean, I've been suicidal a lot in my life as a teenager from 14 to 15. If I would have been diagnosed and gone to a doctor, I would have been diagnosed with chronic depression, social anxiety disorders, and also other things along with being suicidal. Because, and to get back on point, you know, like with now being able to be an adult, make my own decisions more, and have stability, there's so much of me that the things, the accomplishments I have had, the job success, the people that respect me, you know, and that, you know, the friendships or whatever, it all can't like replace. And I kind of feel like I'm ungrateful, or I'm missing, or I'm just like not getting over it or whatever. But if I'm honest with myself, like, and I've tried to analyze it, but it's like a lot of me died in the past, and now I can't enjoy like anything because like I can't get a different childhood with my mom. I never really felt close with her. I can't get a safe relationship with my dad. Obviously now things can be different, but you know, it's the weird thing of processing and moving on so that, you know, you can live your life and enjoy your life, and then of course also help other people not have to go down the same path, you know.
Yeah.
I want to chime in right quickly.
Yeah, you're good.
And then we're gonna let your brother toss them softball. He don't toss softball. Ain't nothing about Zach Service on a softball level, so you better be ready.
Come on now.
This may be a little hurdle and a little challenging. Would you step into that prayer for us right now?
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah, I
Filling
can
the
do
place?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go right ahead and hit it with it.
Thank you, Lord, that we are all able to be here today. Thank you for Howard, and how do you pronounce your name again?
Coach Obasi.
Coach Obasi, being here and just having this whole setup and everything. Grateful to be here. And for anybody that does see this, I just hope that our conversation connects with them, and that it's something that can either just make them feel seen or help them to move forward or have light shed on a situation. And just thank you that, you know, you're helping us with things in whatever way you can. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Now, Zach, I'm going to have you come behind that prayer and what you've heard thus far. Put a prayer on top of that prayer, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, Lord. First of all, there's a lot of people, Father, that you know are going through this exact same experience and that have not seen how to get to the other side of it.
Yes, Father.
They haven't processed these things. They don't know how. They don't know where to start. Many of them feel hopeless. Many of them still feel suicidal. Many of them still suffer from depression. Many of them do not see hope. So, Father, I'm asking you that and everyone is under the sound of our voice right now, Lord, let wisdom penetrate these problems they're facing. Let your Holy Spirit, who is the comforter and the counselor and the helper, comfort them for what was lost. Counsel them on how to process it and help them move forward with a fresh perspective and a fresh identity, not just so that they can see what they went through differently, but that they can see themselves through a lens of wholeness, not brokenness. And Lord, I even ask that as we continue this conversation, that you would bring forth solutions, that you would bring forth strategies and ways that we can succeed in healing as a community and healing as individuals, and that you would bring forth some word, some phrase, some statement, some idea that would trigger a response in somebody's heart to say, I can do that. This can change. This can start me on a new path. There is hope, Father, that this would be a productive conversation that leads not just to relatability, but to actionable steps in order to not just relate to the problem, but to then walk out of it into wholeness. In Jesus' name. Amen.
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 That was great.
And coach,
Pass
I'm
the
at,
plate,
hey
pass
man,
the
that's
plate.
serious. Hey, pass the hat. Hey, pass the hat right
Yes,
now.
right.
Okay, and coach, if you don't mind, if you'd be so kind as to cover that with something out of your system, please, sir.
Okay. I was just thinking about just the conversation that's going on right now and how our viewers and our listeners are able to relate to the conversation. And the first thing that came to my mind is attachment. And so when I start thinking about attachment, we have to understand that there's avoidant attachment, you have disorganized attachment, you have secure attachment, and you have
Is there like a disorganized one or something like that?
disorganized.
Yeah, I think so.
So what I saw is an opportunity for us to expand and see those attachments or relationships that you have with a person. They're very critical. Even every
Yes.
one of us sitting here in this studio today has had some attachment issues with our parents.
Yes. Yes.
However, how do those attachment issues relate to your children? And are your children able to hear you now after you go through your own way of processing what you thought was good for yourself, what you thought that was hindering you, what you thought that traumatized you, and how are you now moving on as an adult? Because a lot of times we get stuck right at that particular area when we first start to have the trauma. It's like a person who has a drug and alcohol issue, right? If the person gets addicted at 16 and then they finally get clean and sober at 28, they still have that 16-year-old behavior.
Yep.
Yep.
So we have to realize that it's the same way with a person who's actually saying something and having a critical conversation, because if you don't have that critical conversation, then everybody won't know your pain. You'll suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Powerful. There's a little something I snatched. It's easy to know the patterns that keep repeating in our lives. Old habits, familiar frustrations, the same types of setbacks. It's easy to notice the patterns that keep repeating in our lives, old habits, familiar frustrations, the same types of setbacks. Awareness, and I'm hearing a lot of awareness in our LS and our superhero. Awareness is the first step, recognizing when you're stuck in a loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing the footprints you've left behind. Can you kind of reflect on that for us, Luke?
Yeah. Self-awareness, actual self-awareness, not self-awareness.
Wait. Say that again now. Actual?
I don't mean to be rude to anybody
No,
or whatever,
keep it
but
real.
there's a lot of people that think they're self-aware.
Say that.
They don't know themselves.
There goes the service in him. Set it
And-
out.
Yes.
And to any time I say a criticism, it's like I want to always have an olive branch reached out,
Yeah.
because it's like
Disclaimer.
A redeeming opportunity.
yeah, because it's
I like that.
it's actually one of the scariest things sometimes to actually dig inside. If if you're healthy, it's not. You're just curious and you learn about yourself and you live life. It's how it should remain as long as it can. As you grow as a child into a teen and whatnot. It's one of the things that's the burden of being a parent, trying to keep your kid just not damaged from everything and classmates and this and that. Sorry, what was the?
Let me read it again. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing when you're stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
Seeing the footprints you've left behind, and then when you kind of reflect on that, there's some others to it. So, you recognize,
Right.
you're looking at the footprints, and me being from your future, I can say that this too shall come to pass. So let me move on to the next one.
Yeah.
But real growth happens when you take a different step.
Yeah.
When you break the cycle, even in a small way. What small way have you broken the cycle of the footprints that's been left behind?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, talk about the move.
huh?
If I come out here, I'd say that he's part of that.
Yes. No, literally it's I lived with my parents until being 23, and I had a lot of stuff happen in 2023. It was my first time I got promoted. I was working at Walmart for like 2.5 years. That's where I worked, and I got promoted to being a supervisor of the front end. And it was like the hardest challenge that I'd faced because it was the first time to where, you know, I was entirely like dependent on other people for things to work, you know?
Yeah.
And I realized just, you know, because I always tried to be optimistic. I did as in what little way I could actually express it. I did care about people and wanted to make things better. And it just, I realized how inadequate I was for actually wanting to accomplish the things as a person I wanted to, and like change the way things were done and make things better. And so, you know, like I said, with struggling with being suicidal, it's like it's not been a long distant thing for me, because it was then. It's like that was when I decided I had like a terrible like Easter weekend, and it was just like it sent me into like a depression for like 2 days where I didn't get out of bed, and because I just felt like an entire failure as a person. It wasn't even like in my mind thinking, it's just my body shut down because I couldn't deal with it anymore. And but with things being different, anyways, more stuff happened in 2023. Ultimately, at the end of the year, like I had a whole like mental breakdown to where I got hospitalized, and it was crazy, and it caused a whole bunch of family drama. And there was the choice, and this is where like I appreciate my older brother a lot, because if it wasn't for him kind of intervening in my situation, I wouldn't be out here and have a chance to be free from like the obstacles that were kind of there, and to have a new environment and whatnot. And so like the main different step I've tried to take in moving forward with being somebody that suffered from a lot of depression, a lot of loneliness, a lot of things, is to hold the fact that, you know, I do have these attachment issues. I don't really feel like, you know, a lot of people will understand or whatnot, but to at least try to prioritize people and find the people that I can spend time with, and try to build relationships, even though, you know, most of my life I haven't had the type of relationships I've been looking for.
You answered the second phase. The first part of it was, but real growth happens when you take a different step.
Yep.
When you break the cycle, even in a small way, you open a new path for yourself. It's not always comfortable or easy, but each conscious choice to change creates a brighter direction forward.
Right.
Remember, noticing the pattern is wisdom. Walking a new path is courage. Zach,
Yeah,
what have you?
that's really good. Yeah.
Okay. What courage have you seen in your brother, man?
Man, I say a lot, because first of all, and I won't get into details, but that situation of even what it took to get him here, there was so much manipulation that was going on from the other side of, you know, family, that it was literally a fight to get him here.
Right.
Like not just in the natural, but in the spirit.
Spiritual, yeah.
Gotcha.
It was. There was so much of a fight that wanted to keep him where he could not heal, where he could not break free of those cycles, right? And so I thank God that he broke free and he got here. But it wasn't easy, you know. He was still dealing with a lot of the same stuff, and I won't go into details again, but he wasn't supposed to be living with me and my wife. There was already an agreed upon person, instead of people who were supposed to take him in, that did not follow the agreement. So my wife didn't want to see him in a situation where he didn't have stability and comfort. So she agreed to let him stay with us for about 6 months. So that was a weird dynamic, because my wife and I were newly married. We would work through her trauma, me working through my areas of immaturity. We already have 2 children. She's pregnant with JJ at the time. Right, with JJ, right? Pregnant with JJ. So it was like, it was hell in my house for like 6 months straight. Not because he was, I mean,
Had nothing
we
to
had a
do
few
with him.
arguments, but for the most part, it was just because there was so much trauma and change and instability and all these different things at the same time.
Right.
But we were, by God's grace, we worked through it, and we were blessed to have a good church home. That's when I was serving at the church in Macomb.
Right.
Okay.
So while, and that added to it too, because just there's the stress of all the long travel and I mean, being a worship pastor and a music director and production. I mean, it's just so much you're having to think about, and so much time, and again, the late travel, you know. I mean, if I'm going there for a rehearsal, I mean, that's a 6-hour day because of the 90 minutes one way, and
Right,
then,
come back,
you know, so it was a lot of things adding to that. But I watched him, you know, grow. I watched him have the courage to take correction and not stay in that mode of defensiveness, because he'd be like, you know, he'd be like dogging me out in front of my boys. I'm like, hey, bro, you can't do that. Like you can't talk to me like we talked when we grew up together. Like if they see you disrespect me, they gonna disrespect.
Right.
So we used to duke it out, you know, verbally about that. But he really quickly adjusted to that. And you know, Luke is one of the rare people in my life that I can talk to them straight.
Yeah.
And even if he does not agree with me at first, he'll at least respect my perspective.
That's
and
right.
he'll actually go and think about what I said.
Yes.
And then there's times where I'll go and think about what he's. I'm like, you know what? You got a valid point, bro. You're right. You know. So there's not a lot of people, especially at his age, at 25 years old.
Right.
I mean, really not mine either, 27. But at 25 years old, you know, right before your the frontal lobe is done, you know, it's
Totally
true
developed, yes.
development. That can actually have the emotional, especially while still dealing with trauma, the emotional maturity to receive correction, especially from a familial figure that you already have beef with, because you know, like, to even sometimes to submit to me as a leader, saying like, hey, bro, this is what I think you need to do, or this is where, you know, the direction's going.
Because I think most of us, Howard knows this because he's seen it, but we have, since me being here, we've worked together in multiple instances.
Yes.
At the church in Macomb, I was volunteer, but I tried to help him in production stuff, and he did a great job there getting things organized and making it very like a professional tracking of everything that's going on. But so we worked together. So we had the dynamic of brothers, the dynamic of me being an uncle, which, like, as he mentioned, I didn't know how to be.
That's so weird.
At all. I was like, what?
Oh, like, you're
I'm
talking to
an
them
uncle
like
now.
they're adults, dude. I was like, you're over.
Yeah.
You can't talk to them like that.
Yeah.
He's over here in a deep conversation with Tyler.
Well,
like,
his son Tyler.
Is that my guy? Tyler's my guy.
yeah, I know you like JJ.
I like JJ,
Tyler's the
my dude.
oldest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler's the.
He's really smart though.
Yeah,
so.
he is intelligent, man.
But no, so we work together. So like Zach, and I'll let you continue because you were talking about the whole submitting to leadership. It's
Right.
like it's. And I guess I can interject this. Any relationship, in my view, my goal for every relationship is to form relationships to where we're like sharing purpose together.
Yes.
I feel like if you're not in relationships, it's almost like, what's the point? Because and it's no offense to any relationships, because you got this, you just go play golf together, you do this, you do that, but it's like at some point we're designed for sharing lives together.
That's true.
And so
That's true.
yeah, but go ahead with what
Yeah, I
you're saying.
mean, lives, not just sharing hobbies.
Yeah.
Because, but think about it, and that's actually, I love how this is kind of segueing into what we wanted to talk about when we talked earlier,
Right.
Because we wanted to talk about society with young adults and what we can do to grow and you know, what we deal with as young adults. But even as men, men really, and my wife gets on me about this all the time, because men won't do anything together if it's not around something that, like, they're doing it.
Yeah.
So they won't come around and talk and get these kind of healing conversations.
That's right.
They'll come around to, like you said, golf or play football or go watch the game or sit at the bar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they will leave no better a person than they were when they came.
Yeah.
They did something together that got their mind off their life. And that's why most men that I've seen in my life, they really lack accountability, because most of them, they don't want to get personal because there's so much fear of that vulnerability.
Is that why you had one of your 4 R's? What 4 A's was accountability?
Yeah, man. Because
And you really stuck with that one, man. I tell you.
and look, but because it's not just about politics or government. The Bible says in many different verses, but one that I repeat to myself frequently is one. Paul says, "Walk circumspectly around your heart to see if ye be of the faith."
Yes, it.
Which means take an evaluation of yourself regularly and see, am I really about what I say I'm about?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you might be thinking, because you were about it 2 years ago, that you're still about it. But if you actually evaluate your heart and you evaluate your actions, you realize, wait a minute, I'm not living what I said I believe.
You're not practicing what you're preaching.
Exactly. That's hypocrisy by definition. So it's really a struggle that men have. But I mean, we have an opportunity to segue into what you wanted to talk about, Luke.
Yeah.
As young adults,
Yeah.
the older generation is not going to be the one to spearhead the trailblaze.
No offense to the older generation
no
sitting with us.
because they had no one to teach them.
Well, I think it's because sometimes it's people's time and turn.
Yeah.
People's time and turn. And lots of times we don't realize that we won't leave room for the next ones up.
Yep.
And we'll think that our time to continue to talk and for people to listen to us, right? And so as you was talking about accountability, that's all I was thinking about. Man, every day I do assessments on people, right?
Yeah.
If I have a client and that client coming to see me over and over, I'm reassessing where that client is, but also where I'm at in a therapeutic relationship as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in hearing from a next one's up perspective, how we move forward
Yep.
with making sure that we have these critical conversations and how we socially connect
Yeah.
so that we can be relevant. That's why I'm going to be quiet and listen to you.
So if I could real quick, Luke, then I want to pivot it to you. But I was thinking about this morning. I really want to shout out Howard.
Oh,
man, because Howard, and I don't take offense when I say this.
Hey, Zach, when you told me about putting my blinker down and across the lane, hey, brother, we good. When I see cussing around you, a little bit, every now and then I throw a little word out there. I got to keep my own ego going. But go right ahead, sir. We're going to take it. Give it to me.
But, if anyone looking from the outside in would be like, who is Howard, of all people, to be the one to form this community? Like you would not, if you knew Howard, like you'd be like, why you, dude? But God. Right, but God. But I was listening to somebody. It was Dr. Felix Anderson yesterday in the River conference. Which, oh my God, that was powerful, because he started prophesying to me while prophesying to someone else. Suddenly he stops and he says, Zach, and starts prophesying. I didn't realize he was talking about me because he's not looking at me. He's glazed off in the spirit and stuff. And then he started saying, because you're imposter. Like, oh, he's talking about me. Then he turned and looked at me, and he was speaking some stuff to me. But he talked about how God is sending people in this season who don't look like what you expect, who they're not who you would expect, to actually be a blessing to you and to manifest his power. Because think about it, Howard, even though you may have your differences, opinions when it comes to religion and things like that, but you have been a vessel for the Lord.
Don't make me cry.
Go ahead, man. I cry. I'm over here. It's the pollen.
Okay.
But you have been used as not just a bridge builder like I have been, but you have been, I think you use this word, a community connector.
Right.
You are actually forming a community of young adults that many young adults would have no clue how to, because one, they don't have the resources, they don't have the relationships, and they may not even have the blueprint for how it should be done. And you might just be winging it out here and learning as you go, like most of us. But I just really want to shout you out, because one of the ways we do this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got us on. You got the next ones up on the couch discussing the plan forward. And so I just want to commend you for that, bro.
Yeah.
Brother, and I want to thank you all for, as Coach OBESI says, just being a reflection of what's in the mirror.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Connecting this community together. And I'll have to echo what you're saying, Zach, because community strong is not just about one person.
Yep.
Nope.
And then you have two words in community. You have communicate and unify, right?
Yep.
So you cannot communicate and unify to people who do not hear you at all. And majority of the generation that was before us, they're not hearing young people at all, or the next one's up. They don't want to hear. They want you guys to listen to them. And what has happened, even after the campaign with Zach was on, it opened the whole city of Jackson to start listening. And it's not just Zach; it was a lot of other next ones up that was running for political office.
True.
And they had it was a whole different paradigm shift.
Yeah.
In the next 4 years, when you see the electoral campaign hits, I guarantee you, people in the old school, the old guard, they're gonna listen.
Yeah.
They have to listen. If they don't, they won't be relevant. So that's why I want to listen to what you're talking about, Luke, because what you're saying is almost prophetic. It's getting us to see how the future's going to look through the lenses of those who are already here present. So when God puts us in a position, he puts us in a position to be uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
But when we go through this process of being uncomfortable, now we have to get ourselves ready for the overflow.
Yep.
We got to get up, because this is what it's called. In the Hebrew term, it's called shundo. And the word shundo means the turnaround.
Yep.
Okay.
The turnaround. And the turnaround never can come You can never turn around if you're never looking forward. Majority of people, when they look back, they can't see. So when you turn around, it's like a Sam Kofa bird. You have to go back and fetch that next generation. And you're the next generation that God's getting us to see that we have to be relevant and hear his voice through that vessel. So that's what I want. That's what I'm excited about.
And Zach,
hear what God is saying with you.
You all are therapy to me. Your therapy. This is my therapeutic session. I didn't know this was what it was going to turn out to be because I'm from the old school.
Right.
Do as I say.
Yeah.
Do as I say. And even having a 23-year-old just recently turned 23, I'm having challenges because he's not 13.
Yeah.
He's not 14.
Yeah.
He's not going to do as I say.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to have those moments of distance, those moments of disconnect, and that's okay. My dad reminds me often that you did the same thing. I said, no, I didn't. It's no way. But if you don't mind, if we can just step into this little room, and I want you to be my lead on it, Zach, is you use the word suicide.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought, even back in the day, I made an effort to do the suicide thing. But I took some Tylenol or some buffering aspirin or something, so all I got out of it was a headache and a disruption of my gut. But I wasn't really, did I really want to go on the other level, on that other side of the suicide?
Yes,
so would
sir.
you kind of
Yes, sir.
touch, if we can, and Zach kind of pulling back if he goes too far.
Yeah.
What does that look like to someone that looks whole and healthy? We always look at other people and paint them better on the canvas than where they may be in the actual stroke of the brush.
Yeah,
Do you mind kind of sharing with the suicide?
Yeah, no, I have no problem talking about it because it's one of the almost impossible things to really talk about to anybody because you know, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it and gotten some insight about kind of the causes and stuff like that. But I've lived in that place for a lot of years, and when you're in that place, it's essentially your perspective is flipped in looking at you from the outside in an ultimately condemning way. That can be a lot of it. Because for me, like I said, like as a young adult, a lot of it came from me being aware of the areas that I was felt like I was failing in, which for me it was trying to connect with people, trying to make a difference in people's lives, trying to be a part of something, trying to be successful and be fulfilled. And then also with being suicidal, a lot of it can come from pain you've experienced. It's very much seems like it's a defensive mechanism, and as you know, with the things like disassociation or anything to where you kind of go numb from feeling. It's the unfortunately it is satanic. If it's not labeled that, then you're never going to really end it because I firmly believe that there are spiritual forces. I don't believe everything's everything's not the devil.
Yep,
a lot of stuff is us. Like this world it's hell because of us. It's like, you can't blame the devil for it. You can't blame God for it. But yeah, so it's, I forgot where I was going with that.
You mentioned that for one, suicide is kind of, no one really wants to deal with it. Really talk about what actually you go through in that. But I also even want to steer you. Do you want to talk about that Easter weekend, or do you want to not go that deep?
No, for me,
because I think that would probably touch a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I have no problem going
because I want us to see where you were,
yeah,
to bring to where we are now, to see how we can go forward.
Yes.
I remember what I talked about is we must be informed by the past, planted in the present, focused on the future. So I want them to get the information of how bad your past was, to see where you are in the present.
Yeah,
that you're sitting here, you're laying here while being focused on moving forward. Do you want to talk about what happened that day at the hotel?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the culmination of working as a team lead for months, having that immense weight of responsibility and feeling like you can't function with it and be successful. Because too, also, like, my manager, he wasn't terrible, but his emotional composition and way that he led is almost exactly like how my dad was. And so for me, it was very triggering, especially as a young adult who now has skills and has, like, I have a stronger sense of resilience. But the thing is, too, it's almost as if you don't speak the same language, because I didn't have a language to express frustrations.
You were just talking about language
That's
earlier.
deep right there.
Yeah.
That's deep. A
So-
language to express.
So I would hate
Frustration.
people and never say anything.
Wow.
And with the relationship with my dad, it's like I simultaneously did have some love for him, but I hated him and wanted to kill him for many years.
Wow.
Because he was, and it's unfortunate as a person to admit this, if he ever did, but he was the sole reason for almost everything bad that happened in our lives. And it's because, unfortunately, he was the church circle we grew up in did a great disservice to actual family unity. And when you become God, either because you don't realize you're making all the decisions or because you want control and don't want things differently, then that's essentially the worst place to be in, when you make yourself God in somebody else's life. But anyways, back to the actual decision to kill myself. It was all of that. I couldn't.
Such a rapid transition.
It was super rapid. Bam! I had to swallow on that one. I'm like, where we going next?
I'm sorry, bro. That's cool.
That's super
You did that way too soon.
Hey, give me a crash helmet, please. Go ahead.
So back to killing myself.
So back to killing myself.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah. So I wasn't able to emotionally get out the anger. And for me, a lot, because I couldn't express it and get it out, like, for me, music has been a massive part of my life. It gave me language to express what I was feeling, and it helped me deal with, like, the madness in my head and emotions that I dealt with all the time.
Who were you listening to back then?
So I like a lot of so what I first got into, we were raised on purely Christian music, but once I started listening to stuff, a lot of it was just like pop radio hits, 2010s and stuff like that. But I got my first music I heard was everything that my older brother had, and so
We used to listen to music on our PlayStation portables.
Oh
Our
yeah,
PSPs.
oh yeah. Eventually, I got an iPod, and so I could.
He got the iPod before I did. I was always jealous.
iPod Nano. It was a lot of. I got into like metalcore music, which for folks that don't really know, it's it's emo music, but it's a derivative of like metal music, but it's a lot more angsty and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's phenomenal. And for me, it was the first time I heard people sing about what I was going through. And it was like, oh my gosh, I felt such a connection there that I didn't find in the church that I was going to or in the people that I was around.
So sad too.
But I was also too into hip hop and rap a lot. Like, of course, Drake, Logic, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
And for me, I got really into, and he's not the best lyricist, but huge Future fan, man. I'm not an expert on the history of rap, but when it comes to BS trap music, he is the god of BS trap music. And like
Dirty Sprite.
If you've not heard his Dirty Sprite 2 album, like, the beats on that album are beats that made me love hip hop, and just because he's not saying anything, but his flow is impeccable.
I'll tell you, Future was just the swag god of the 2010s.
You got him, you got Cam Newton, you got all those dudes, you got Deion Sanders. It's like, oh my god, the aura.
What do they call it now? Aura farming.
Yeah,
these,
aura
these
farming.
Gen Zers. But steering it back to suicide.
Oh yeah. So anyways, so essentially it was all pent down. I had a kind of I always had, like, I was functioning with like high functioning depression or
I think
something.
that's, like in high functioning anxiety.
Yeah. So and one of the things that got me through a lot, actually, and it might seem silly to folks that don't understand it, but the whole entire character of Batman, actually, as a teenager when I was 13 and 14,
Dark
It's
Knight.
kind of dumb to say, but he was my Jesus Christ almost, man. He literally gave
Well,
me
he went
more
through it
hope
too
than
as well
folks
now.
talking about God because, like, Batman, like, the entire character is somebody that's dealing with insanity
Yeah.
and being the only one fighting it and continuing on against all odds.
Right.
And as a teenager, and that's too, you know, we talk about the next generation stuff. The next generation, you know, is all looking at the Kais and Nats and,
Yes.
and baby faces and folks.
Yeah.
Children that are telling other children how to live and like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
same. I mean, no different
Terrible
than
role
like,
models.
yeah, not that my music role models are any better, but at some point there's got to be like somebody like that's for one that actually does understand that, because if you just straight up, like, I do believe the Bible is correct and whatnot and like accurate, but it is the Holy Spirit like does speak and like the word can like, you know, mean something to you now, even though it's written way long ago, but
Yep.
we can't act like it's not a book written thousands of years ago in a language that isn't even from the same culture we are.
right.
Right.
There has to be
Right,
a lot
right.
of time spent in action and weaving current existing life together. There's no scripture that talks about anything related to social media.
Right.
There's things about identity. There's nothing in scripture that refers to bullying as when you're a child.
Right.
Yes, it talks about being persecuted for your faith.
Right. Right.
But I mean, there's so many things that the Bible doesn't cover, but that
and then you
God
have
thinks
people
about.
who preach and take stuff out of context. Like
Right.
they'll say Jesus saying turn the other cheek. Know nothing about the cultural context of that, not realizing that it was actually a diss to the person slapping you to turn the other
Huh,
cheek.
okay.
Because they would slap you with the backhand.
That's right.
So if you turn the other cheek, now they got to slap you with the palm of their hand
Front.
and treat you as an equal. They can't treat you as a subordinate anymore.
Huh.
So by turning the other cheek, it was saying, hey, you can do what you're going to do, but you're going to respect me. I'm standing my ground. But the only time Jesus ever supported laying down and taking it essentially was if you were being persecuted for his sake.
Yeah.
He didn't, because what did he tell them right before he got captured and crucified?
Didn't he tell them, like,
If
buy
you-
swords
He
and
literally
stuff?
said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak
That's right.
and get one.
Mhm.
And he had, how many of y'all have now? Well, sir, we have 2 swords right now. He said, that'll be enough. He said,
He was a rebel, man.
and so he was like, look, man, but his instructions were different because then he said, okay, you remember I told you don't take a bag, don't take a change of clothes. Now I tell you, get a bag packed, grab some sandals, get a purse with money in it because the season is shifting.
Yes.
You know? Oh, I felt the Holy Ghost on that. But let's tie it back to you.
Yeah.
So you went through these experiences. You went through, and we've talked about this all the time, how the church kind of failed us because they were so always spiritualizing everything that they never really pulled the spiritual into the practical.
Right.
And because the scripture often does not blatantly say this or that is the solution to this problem, somebody like you who's going through all this pain, this anger, this even doubt towards God, you've talked about that before. If you don't bring it to something practical, that's why Jesus always taught in parables.
That's right.
And it's like the modern church doesn't believe in parables. They want you to understand. They want to. It's like the Catholic Church that wants to preach everything in Latin. Like they just now finally started using some English or the language somebody speaks in. Because if I'm going to understand it, because Jesus was speaking to common people.
Right.
Right.
He was speaking to farmers. What did they say about the disciples? These are unlearned men. Where are they getting all this wisdom from? These are not well-educated. These are not theological scholars. These are fishermen. These are businessmen. These are tradesmen. So I think our generation is tired of, this is your favorite word to use, the platitudes. they're tired of the empty, colloquialisms and cliches from the church.
Right.
They want something that they can actually practically apply. And sadly, that's why some of them, they shift into following even people who are not theologically sound because they make it sound like I can relate to this, even if it's not exactly what the Bible is really saying.
Right.
And that doesn't help someone like you who is in that position of, I want to end my life. And all the people who are trying to help you, they're either going to give you useless advice from a spiritual level because you have no way to actionalize it, or they're going to give you advice that may sound good in the moment, but because it's not spiritually rooted in truth, it doesn't help you either.
Yeah.
Right.
So what brought you to that night where you were ready to really end it all, and what happened there and how did it stop?
Yeah. So really, it was just after everything. Like I said, I had a couple days of just not being able to really get out of bed. Just and then was finally time for me to go back to work. And at the time, the day I was gonna work a closing shift from like 2 p.m. or whatever, and I drove to like a fast food place that's like right next to the Walmart, and I just sat there and trying to work up the energy to go back in, and I was just so angry, and I was like, no, I can't do it. Because also they were calling me a bunch and I wasn't answering the phone, and I felt like that whole heart beating, racing, oh, I'm in trouble. But I was like so angry, and like and also not wanting to deal with it. I was like, I'm done. And after sitting there a little longer, what I did was immediately, and it's the way I got back into doing the event production stuff that I do now. Immediately, I texted the manager of the stagehand company I work for, and I was like, hey, man, like, I'm available. What you got? Because I made my decision. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And it wasn't at all the mature thing that you're supposed to do. But for me, like I said, it's like I wasn't raised in a way to where you can deal with things in a healthy manner. So it's seemingly disproportionate reactions to things, and other folks are confused by it. And but it's, anyways. So I did that, and then also, I had no clue what to do with the rest of my day. I drove around, got something to eat, and I thought about it a lot. But I was essentially like, I kind of knew I was done, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. Isn't worth it. That's the biggest thing for me that I constantly felt and thought. It's like, none of this is worth it. And after years of like, it started basically, once I was like 20, I got a job for the first time because I was doing like school and going to college. And I was going to college. I was a part of my church. I was there constantly volunteering. I was trying to, form those relationships and different things. And I never found anything meaningful. And so it's just like, at that point that I was that day, it was just years of anxiety, years of hopelessness, and years of putting in effort and having so little reciprocated.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it anymore, because for me, like, we talked about awareness, it's like, I don't beat my head up against the wall. It's like, if I see something's not working, I will pretty quickly pivot. And to have something to where you consistently are trying to make the change, but it's like either you're unable to, or you feel like there's obstacles that you cannot overcome. It just absolutely, it's like a constant like sledgehammer that's just beating down at your ability at your support to support yourself. And so I eventually, for me, like, if I was going to do it, I was going to do it in a way that wasn't excruciatingly painful. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy, I'm not trying to gain cool points by,
You want to try to get no Tylenol?
Yeah, and what about the method?
Yeah, that's like, and that's the thing too about me. I was never the type, and I would kind of like to be a little hostile about it, because there's so many folks that's like, you're in pain, but you're kind of like using your pain to gain sympathy and stuff. And I'm like, and then unfortunately as a man, I'm like, well, you're a bitch. It's like,
That's how we're taught.
I have to admit that, because it's not right to say that, but that's actually what I feel. And most men feel that way. It's like,
they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
and that's why also we can't help women when it comes to them. Like, cause women are much more likely to self-harm and do the cutting and things like that.
Right.
Yep.
Because they're way more sensitive and stuff like that. And for a guy, it's like, if you saw another dude who cut, most of the time you'd be like, I mean, like, what are you doing? There are guys that do it too. Like I said, like, emo culture is what, like, I'm
You're
a part
hitting on
of.
some stuff, man.
Email.
But too, like,
tell them. See, a lot of people don't understand what emo means.
Yeah.
So just
Please.
not long, but just tell
'Cause
them
I'm lost.
Yeah.
what does emo mean.
Emo essentially, it's it's an abbreviation for being emotional. It's emotionally charged music. It's music. Most music, if you look back on it, it's frequently talking about love songs or just having fun, or there's not a lot of substance to a lot of music, a lot of the greatest songs or whatever. Or if it is substantive, it's purely in a romantic relationship. Emo music is mostly talking about your feelings, talking about hate, talking about struggles and stuff like that.
And wearing lots of makeup as a man.
Yeah. And, goth and whatnot. It's very it's extraordinarily theatrical.
Right.
It's the heavy on the, like everybody is, no different than like hip hop culture with the different apparel or disco or anything.
Right.
For emos, it's dark clothing.
That's
It's
right.
you know, it's intense logos. It's different colors and stuff. It's trying to express a lot of stuff that's suppressed, and so it comes out in a very energetic manner, whether that's very sad, very depressing, or very hostile and very angry. But
Lots of times the parents don't know. That's why I wanted you to reference that, because my daughter was emo.
oh, okay,
She was emo at 11 years old, and I thought she was literally nuts.
Man.
And so she started cutting herself and doing this crazy stuff. Like, wow, did I put her in the wrong school?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that I wanted the references for our audience so you can understand that when my daughter overcame her depression and things she was dealing with, she was dealing with what we call a counterculture.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. I had to go in her world to understand where she was at.
Yeah.
And that's how she was able to get herself back. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
yeah, and that's man, that's tough to hear, and that's one of the reasons. Like, we're talking about suicide. It's I'll jump back into the story, then get back to that, because that day, I tried to buy a gun. I went to Academy. The dude, I wasn't clear on what I wanted, and the dude's like, maybe you should do your research a bit more. And I was like, I can't tell you why. But I'm like, yeah, you make a good point. And I actually respected him because he didn't just sell me a gun when it's clear that I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
But then I went to another place, and
It's
they
Texas.
had some shit on sale that they're trying to unload. Hey, yeah, we got the perfect thing for you to kill yourself with here, sir. Come right up. They didn't
We're not
give-
laughing at gun violence, by the way.
no, not at all.
I'm
We're
laughing
laughing
at
at
the absurdity of America. I don't agree with liberals that believe in only people that should have the government, should have the guns are the government. Yeah, that's a great idea. Did y'all see COVID? Did you live through COVID? You really want the only people with the power to actually enforce something being the government? That's insane. But also,
was access to guns easy for
oh
you?
yeah.
That's America.
Man, they had to buy one, get one free. we'll even send you a certified technician to pull the trigger for you.
Oh, snap.
Man, and you can get a refund if you're not happy with your experience. Man, this thing didn't do the trick. No,
man,
so all I had to do was literally go in there, and I say, "Hey, I want this," and they got me what I wanted to, and all I had to do was sign a background check. I have no criminal history. I have no history of anything.
Yeah.
That thing is absolute, and this is why people too, like, if the standard is a criminal background check for you being confident when you hire somebody,
Yeah.
that is.
I mean, I know
lazy.
people who pass a background check who were at church and molesting children
Yes,
because they never got caught.
yeah, because it's like, and this is why the evaluation has got to be, the standard has to be more for certain things. It's like, and honestly too, though, and this is where I have I don't have a good perspective on this, but honestly, like, I'm in some instances not opposed to like assisted suicide and things like that.
Right.
It is selfish for people to say, and this is kind of the devil's advocate, dark end line point of society where it gets to be able to deal with this type of stuff. But it is, everybody talks about it's selfish for you to kill yourself. No, it's not. It is selfish for people around you to expect you to keep living in suffering. And it's an unfortunate, and I've got a few different, I think at least a couple buddies or friends that are like girls that, you kind of grew up in similar judgmental situations to where, there's all the folks that question, are you going to hell if you kill yourself and things like that. And where I am as a person to some extent, it's like, I don't think much about heaven and hell. Like, I don't, because like, I would never judge somebody for killing themselves because I understand it. It's like, yeah, I get it. And for some folks, if there's not enough action that comes into life that corrects things, it's going to be potentially years more of suffering. And how much suffering is too much? People look at situations like the Middle East to where it's an insane war zone, or you got Russia and Ukraine, or you got the violence even in Jackson or something like that. It's because no amount of suffering actually matters to really ever for somebody to get involved and change it. We don't want to actually be with people that suffer. We don't.
Which is what Jesus did.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing to do because it makes you feel bad, and sometimes you can't be the one to fix it. It hurts.
Yeah.
But that's why you have, and that's why society's like, oh, I don't understand these young folks and you know all the killing and the violence. They have nothing, and they have nothing to live for. When you get to that point, nobody's life matters. Your life didn't matter. Your suffering doesn't matter. What does it matter if this person dies? You didn't matter, so they don't matter. All that matters is survival and what little gratification you get from that group of people that you belong to.
Is that where you were that night?
Yeah, because too, like a lot. Once I didn't kill myself, I had what drove me for the next few months was a lot of hatred and ego, and I had the gun with me all the time. I was, if any point, if I got angry enough, I would have easily shot somebody for no reason because I was that detached from everything that was going on. That's why the hip hop music really related to me. I feel that that was not raised in the situation. I'm not gang affiliated. I'm not a part of that culture really, but I could understand those emotions of that's what you revel in. It's what David talked about in the Psalms, the evil people that enjoy shedding blood.
Yeah.
The rush you get from certain things feels good. And when there's no positive emotion anymore, you can live off of being evil.
Breathing. Recognizing warning signs and finding help. It's crucial to be aware of the warning signs of suicide in men, which may differ from those typically associated with women. These can include talking about wanting to die, feeling hopeless or being a burden, increased alcohol or drug use. That's always in the top 3. Yeah. Aggression, and irritability, withdrawal from social contact.
Yep.
Man.
Changes in sleep or eating habits, engaging in risky or self-destructive behavior. Luke, I just want to thank you for taking time to share.
Yes.
Because that has a lot to do with children walking into the school, young people, adults walking into environments. You know, I start out children, then I said let's go young adults, then adults, because you never know when they say "fuck it."
Yep.
When they say I'm hurting so bad, I'm flooding. Bam, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And we always look to place the blame and the responsibility as opposed to being more observant to what people are going through.
Yeah.
For those that are listening, and one thing that's so beautiful about the conversation, Zach, is we never know where it's going. I really want to talk about him being a producer and all that kind of stuff. And
we didn't get to that yet.
We didn't even get to that. And suicide prevention and support, 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Why do you think people may evade or not going to a suicide crisis line to have someone to bring them off the ledge?
Yeah, it's for me primarily the reason I didn't reach out is because in my mind whether it was right or wrong, I knew if I reach out to anybody, it's either they're not going to understand or they're not going to be able to fix it. Okay. I knew that, and it was factual. There was nobody. Because I like went to my church and whatnot and asked for help, and I was saying, "Hey, I'm suicidal." And the person, folks are like, "Oh," and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why you're that's your response?" It's like, what level of? And that's why certain people, it's like I don't hate them, but I'm like, I don't know what planet you exist on to where you can't communicate something that at least lets me know that I'm here with you, something like that. I'm like, what in the world is your issue?
Right.
And that was my church and that's why like it's tough for me to exist in church because it's like you people don't get it. Yet you always talk about a God that rescues you in your darkest times. Well, all of you people are either in denial and that's one of the things I respect a lot about the church that I'm not consistently going there, but I've tried to be a part of there. But Joe Reynolds from City Heart Church, he actually is human and can connect to you.
I saw their signs last night downtown Jackson.
They're awesome.
He's the reason actually I even kept going to the church because I'm like, for one, he taught, the first Sunday I went there, he taught from a real life experience, a current
I think he's
experience.
teaching this today, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
I'll
have to watch it. And he's somebody that took time, and this kind of relates to the whole why someone won't call a hotline, because there's not much that they can do. Like, in most people, if you're at the point of killing yourself, it's long-term problems where a phone call is not really going to help. You need somebody, literally, and folks don't treat people like if somebody has a critical injury, like a limb lost or something like that, or a shot, you're putting critical care. Right. You don't leave that. You are not you can stay as long as you need to be Obviously, there's a lot of cost things and stuff, but you're kept there as long as you need to be to get back healthy. And then there's physical therapy after and stuff like that. Obviously, in America, it's going to cost you your
arm and leg you lost.
Yeah,
It's gonna cost you your spirit.
Yeah,
It's gonna cost you your spirit.
yeah. So, but for the mental stuff, it's like, and that's why too, I'm highly interested. Like I did go to therapy, and like the therapist that's helped my sister-in-law a lot, but she's
referring to my wife, Hannah.
Yeah. But the therapist, I mean, I'm sure she's great because she's helped, my brother's wife, Hannah, a ton. But for me, she was not getting a ton of what I was telling her. And she was like insistent on her way of doing things, not in a mean way, but more so like, hey, we're going to do this. I'm like, yo, I'm 25. Like, I'm telling you what I need. And it's like, I'm not a child. It's like, work with me here and alter something to make it actually gonna work for me better. Like, I'm paying you $120 fucking dollars, man. Change something that's gonna work. I'm like, I don't think this is working. I'm like, well, we're gonna stick with the process anyway. It's like, in football, they fire the coaches and they change the whole system. And it's like, we're running a new system next year. We can't gain more than 20 yards.
And that's something that I've talked to you about before, is that every system does not work for every person.
Yeah.
Even talking about sports, a lot of times like, well, the quarterback sucks. No.
Yeah.
The system does not fit because it was designed for a different quarterback. There are some teams that build a system and pick people to fit the system, and then there's other teams that pick the person and build a system around them. And that's what you see, and you look at, if you look at the biggest Super Bowl winning teams, right?
Yeah.
Patriots, Steelers, even at one point, the work the Colts were doing under Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that didn't he bring 2 Super Bowls? Did he win when he was on the Broncos?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he brought a Super Bowl to 2 different teams, but the system was built around Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That dude's about to call some audibles at the line.
Yeah.
That dude's about to confuse the defensive stuff. The system was built around Tom Brady. The system was built around Cam Newton.
Yeah,
So all of and he got him to a Super Bowl. And then I really think Cam Newton suffered from the ownership and stuff, like them not really getting behind him. Because when you listen to him, he's very intelligent.
Yeah.
But so a lot of times, and even with back to Howard's question about like why folks, especially men, might not call a hotline when they're feeling suicidal, because a lot of times these folks are following a script. They're trained on these are the way it has to go. This is how you handle it. And if you don't have somebody who can go off script,
Yes.
who can handle something, or who even, and I'm just going to put this out there. This is my personal belief. If you don't have somebody with the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is the only one who can take who can know your heart and tell me how to speak to what your heart is feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't have that connection, you're just going off your head. You're just going off of what you're thinking, what you were taught. It's all pure knowledge. So there's the struggle for people that are like, I don't know if that's going to give me any relief.
Yeah.
And someone like you, who is such a realistic, deep thinker, like you're emotional because of what you're feeling, but you're still logical. You're led by your logic the whole time.
Yeah.
Even you're struggling to see, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. I know what caused this. Where's the solution at?
Exactly.
You all feeling those emotions. So if you don't come into contact with somebody who you feel can meet you on that logical level,
That makes sense.
instead of them treating you like an emotional child, and realize like, no, I'm not crazy. There's a real reason. Like one of the biggest issues you dealt with in our church was our church made it almost illegal to feel things. Like if it's not faith, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's normal to feel. Jesus wept. Elijah was suicidal. You go through, Moses was scared and constantly rebellious about what God was telling him to do. And he was always pissed off at people.
David had a long series of what is depression and critical doubt.
And his songs and his psalms that he wrote talk about it.
That's like journaling and processing stuff. He fully admitted how terrible everything was, like in detail. And like Zach was saying with our circle, there's no space for the negative.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's like a strike against you.
yeah, it's like it's not yeah.
How you doing today, sir? I'm blessed and highly favored.
You don't, and this is why I respect.
No, I'm suffering and suicidal. Just say it so that you can get help.
And this is what I respect tremendously. And anybody that has a problem with it really doesn't. You shouldn't have a problem with the fact that when Zach ran for office, he consistently called out corruption based off of facts. If you have a problem with that, high chance that you are complicit with it. If you have a problem with it, or you don't really know the people that you're supporting, and you want to feel superior because you voted for somebody and you're like, oh yeah, I'm on board with the right side. It's like, well, maybe you should look a little deeper actually at what's going on. I lost my train of thought.
We had talked about how they made it really hard to have negative. There was no space for the negative to exist.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the circle we grew up in, we believed in like confessing scripture and praying and stuff like that. But we also, in actual lives, denied the evil that existed, and that's why for me too, it's like the only world I understand is a evil and twisted world. And even as a Christian, it's like I expect bad stuff to be the driving thing, because in our household, like it was dynamic. Stuff was only fine because of fear of retaliation.
Yeah,
and you have billions of people that are living under regimes that are in China, in the Middle East.
Yep.
And the only way you actually, and two, the thing is with Americans in our fucking superiority complex, it's insane to me. I'm like, dude, America is more fucked up than most of these other places. We invent new sin here in America. Like,
it's true.
Yeah. Oh yes, we did found a nation of that they're like all Masonist and not actually Christian.
Yeah, that's true.
No offense to the red, white, and blue, but it's like we are a twisted fucking nation. And that's why I'm a big fan of Slipknot, because Slipknot's one of the only groups of people that calls out
Hey, I almost spit up on
America.
myself. What is Slipknot?
It's a metal band.
Because they're the only people like
As a band?
Yeah.
Okay.
they're
Heavy metal.
They're enormous, and it's like I've never like people, and this too, like a lot of Christians don't realize the spiritual power that actually is available to human beings.
Yeah.
So many people that are not saved are operating in levels of spiritual power that Christians never will, because Christians are terrified of emotional expression.
Yeah.
And so you're never going to actually connect with people.
I mean, I was talking with somebody else about this. Like, did you notice that every time God did something big, he would tell them, like, shout, go march.
Yeah.
When the Jericho came down, he said, blow the trumpets, get loud.
Yeah.
Like, everything. David was dancing till he throwing clothes off. Like, every time there was like a powerful expression, it was something big and powerful and loud. And like modern Christianity wants to be so quiet in America. So to pull this into a and land the plane. So you come to a really good spot here. So we got informed by the past. We see where you're at now, what you're experiencing. Now you've made, at least from my perspective, in the 2 years I've seen you since living out here, what brought you to the place where you've now made some progress? Like, even though you have your moments, I don't think you're nearly as suicidal. I don't think you're nearly as depressed, even though you deal with like, okay, what do I do today? I don't know what to do. But you have really significantly grown. You become more self-aware. You've gained self-control. You've built new neural pathways in the way that you think. You know, you've done some healing. What was the turnaround point where you started making this progress, and what are you doing now so that when you move forward, you continue to grow, and that someone else could maybe glean from?
Yeah, literally the entire thing that changed my life was finally somebody intervened in my life to make things different. And it's literally like Zach is almost the entire reason. And I never want to put that pressure on anybody, because you can't expect people. You gotta.
What?
Oh no, sorry. No.
Go ahead. Did you see something? Did my body language say something?
I thought you were. I don't know I don't know how commercial breaks or anything work. Do we have commercial breaks?
We're not on the radio.
You are so polite. Yeah. You know, one thing about when people come to the couch, they do ask, "Can I do this? Can I do that?" Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
We do have about maybe 15 more minutes.
Okay.
And then Zach, I just want you to kind of point out a couple of things, as you know, just give us some push
For sure.
towards us working as a community on some projects.
Yes.
Okay, go right ahead, Lou.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't put the pressure on people to be to fix everything in your life. But I'm pretty much more firmly convinced of this than ever, that God is limited to how much he can do based off of what people are actually willing to do. There's constant biblical scriptural precedent of, like, I always refer to to Exodus and the entire generation that God said for the Israelites. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to wait until you all die to be able to actually move forward.
Whole generation.
And that for me is also, it's the reason why it's the primary reason I still deal with being depressed, because I understand reality. And But yeah, so the whole reason that I've been able to make steps forward is because I finally had somebody in any way demonstrate what it means to have something save you. It's like salvation. If salvation is only spiritual, then to me it's useless. What good is it if my soul is secure for eternity if I have to live through hell on earth? It's like, what's the point of that?
It's powerful.
Right.
That's why most folks won't want God. It's like,
Yeah.
this doesn't solve anything now. That's why, like, you got the only folks that, turn to God when they're finally dead, because it's like, okay, so you got something for the afterlife, but it's like, okay, I'll have to figure it out from here. But so somebody intervening is what changed things. And then for me too, a lot of times, dude, I was dying for one person to intervene, and there wasn't any person that intervened, including not God. Like, dude, like the way, like I stopped myself from killing myself. There was no call from somebody. There was no spiritual experience. It was me finally, like I in the hotel room, I debated about it, took a shower and stuff. I had the gun, and it didn't feel good at all but I was like, I put a gun in my mouth, had it cocked, everything like that, and I made sure that I thought about it and knew what was on the other side of that, and I knew what it would be. And the thing that frustrated me the most was that there was no divine intervention. There was no miracle. And for me, I told myself, I'm like, eventually at the end of it, I was like, this can't be. This is absurd.
Yeah.
It's like, do I not matter that much? Has every relationship I formed in life been so disconnected that there's not going to be anybody there? Because like, but yeah, so now I after I had, my brother intervene, I tried to prioritize being around people that are doing things that care about people. He cares. And if I see you care about something or somebody and are trying to make a difference, I want to try to be a part of it. And it's the reason I'm here. And that's why I respect about you a lot, Howard. Like, you showed concern. You injected yourself into other people's worlds and are a part of, like, his whole campaign and stuff. And that's what makes a difference. It's not going to be a prayer. It's not going to be some scriptural revelation. It's people actually engaging in people's lives and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to walk with you through this. Whatever goes, whatever happens, I will be here with you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you're speaking to the fact that most of the body of Christ doesn't want to be the body. They want to be the aura. Like, we're supposed to be the ones who intervene on God's behalf.
Yeah.
He said, you're the hands you're the feet, you're the gut, you're
not just
the head.
The mouth.
He gave that. That's why the Holy Spirit's supposed to be in you, so that he can work through you. So if you're so selfish and you're not even in tune to the voice of the Holy Spirit, when the Holy Spirit says, hey, call this person, and you're too busy with your own crap, you are supposed to be God intervening.
Yeah.
But because you're so, this is why you cannot, and this ties into the community, because if you are so reclusive, if you are so secluded to your own struggle, your own life, your own issue, and even your own comfort, right, your own luxury,
right,
then God can't use you to be that person to intervene.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be demonizing the people like you who say, well, God didn't intervene. Oh, how dare you say about that about God?
Right.
No, you're right. God didn't intervene because somebody who was supposed to obey somewhere along the line that got you to that point didn't obey. Our parents didn't obey because they wouldn't heal themselves so that they could be used. So instead, the enemy's using them against you. The pastors wouldn't obey because they're so caught up on numbers and doctrine and structures and systems that they didn't have time for you. And you have all these different things to where it's true. God didn't intervene, not because he wasn't desiring to, not because he wasn't willing, but because nobody stepped up and said, here I am, Lord, use me.
Yeah.
And so that should be a call to the body of Christ who claims, because we have a church building. Let me be very clear. This church is not a building, but there are buildings for churches all over the city of Jackson and the state of Mississippi. Near, like, literally, I live where there's 5 churches within.
Yeah, there's a bunch
I
of
cross
them.
the street and there's 3 different churches.
And there's shootings all the time,
And never
right
once
next
have
door.
any of those churches knocked on my door, sent me a mailer, made a phone call, or anything. Not a digital social media traffic. They literally meet parking lot full. Never once have they stepped across the street and knocked on my door.
Yeah.
And so, when are we gonna step up? And because Jesus said, for one, what you do for the least of these, you do to me, and what you don't do, you didn't do for me. So it's not just enough to say, well, I did this, because he said, if you neglect them, you neglected me.
Yeah.
And I think what your story and what your conversation has been as a charge to us, and even if you don't believe in Jesus, at least if you believe in being a good, decent human being,
That's right.
is, hey, guys, we have to stop waiting for someone else to
Yeah,
do it.
powerful.
We
Yeah.
have to stop
Save
saying,
ourselves.
you know, hey, somebody else is going to stop and check on that person when they're stopping. Like, when I don't drive around somebody who's got their flashers on. Just yesterday, leaving Northside Drive, lady was stopped. A nice car, by the way, blocking traffic. This other car moved around, left. I pulled up inside, rolled my window, and I said, hey, what's going on? And like, hey, I ran out of gas, but I called my daddy's on the way. So, okay, you're good. Yep, you're good. Okay. Just that simple, small thing.
Yeah.
That's community.
You don't even know if that's what could stop somebody from killing themselves that
Exactly,
day.
yeah.
Because they saw some hope that a person cared.
Yes.
And so
yeah.
I think that this conversation, and even as we transition into what Howard wanted to talk about in Jackson, is, guys, if you take nothing else from this conversation, care about people enough to enter their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Reach out with a phone call, have a conversation, and don't assume you know. Don't assume you understand just because you had a similar experience. Because one thing most people, especially people struggling in that space, they don't want you to pretend that you relate.
Yeah.
They would rather say, man, I don't understand what that feels like at all. Can you talk me through what you're feeling?
Yeah.
Instead of the pride that I have to feel like I know it all, right? And I just thank you for the vulnerability and sharing that. You know, I'm not crying. It's just they have some onions on the table over there.
Check this out.
Thank you.
So I'll pass it back to Howard.
I want to thank. No, go ahead, Coach, and then come back.
Now I
to
was
me.
saying thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's very important that we
We
hear your
don't
voice.
know how many people we touched, how many people were touched. I always say a word, a sentence, a phrase will resonate with those of you all that are participating in this community conversation of being connected. Yesterday, I witnessed a car accident yesterday.
I saw that.
Man, it was, I've never seen the stunt part of that. I mean, that car, I heard the bam, I turned my head, and I was emotional because I really wanted to get to cussing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to blame and shame. And then I came back and I reflected. Instead of reacting, I reflected on the people that ran to the scene. I even saw a guy that looked like he might have been homeless.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tatted all upside the face and all that. He ran to the scene, and they were picking up stuff out the street. So I just want to thank all of you all that were witness with action to yesterday. The young lady that made the inappropriate decision, if it was her to speed through,
Right.
if that's what occurred, maybe she lost track of where she was. For the gentleman that was making the turn, maybe he didn't. You know, it's so much going on.
Yeah.
So the blaming and shaming does not give me the solution that, hey, we just need to slow down. Slow down. So I want to thank Jackson for showing up and showing out yesterday. I look forward to you coming back in 3 months. Mr. Luke, you have a scope and a perspective and an optics that we need to be connected to. People, please don't miss the message on what he shared. His perspective. One thing I want to commend the couch people. We didn't try and override what Luke was saying.
Nope.
I think sometimes we have to allow people to communicate on their level of, and I need to listen. I need to put my top lip, my bottom lip together, join them, and let me listen. So I just want to thank you for, let me change this right quickly. I just want to thank you for sharing. And I'm sure if you guys go back, when you share it with someone else, there's a lot that he has spoken on. We need to be more observant. We need to be more connected to what other people got going on and stop wanting to paint on their canvas what we think they should have.
That's right.
And I'm guilty of that. As we move forward, Coach, I'm going to let you read off. I know you got to get up out of here. The babies have come in. Do you need to move right quickly?
Yeah.
Okay. Just read. Well, go right here and get on up out of
Yeah.
here. You want to tell them bye-bye?
Yeah, because I have a previous engagement to be at. But I just want to let everybody know this is really good. Luke, I'm excited for what I've heard today. I saw this picture and I saw a 13 or 14-year-old.
He sure did. I
And
said, that's the same
wow.
person.
And when I actually saw you walk to the door, you look like this picture right here. When you walk to the door, and I says, man, that Don Zach. So I thought it was just you, Zach, and had all of the experience and wisdom and know how to make their elders feel a lot more secure and make them feel honored. So when I walked in and talked to you, you made me feel honored.
Oh.
Just like your brother does. And that's missing in our society.
Mm-hmm.
When the older and younger generation just can't connect because they feel like they're in competition. I didn't
Yeah.
feel it today.
Wow.
I felt like it was camaraderie. You know, you learning from me, I'm learning from you. And it was really important to see that. So it's a message that you gave to the next ones up. It's very important that they see that and people hear your voice. Because if your voice and choice is not heard, then you're going to suffer in silence. So I'm thankful for being able to let us know and express how a young person thinks versus how we assume you think.
Cool.
How we want them to think. You know,
How we
I
want
want to
them.
control what he thinks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to control it. You ain't supposed to be thinking on that line. That's what I want you to do. All right. Coach, you have a safe day today,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Hopefully I'll connect with you later on. Thank you so much for taking time out as always.
And shout out to the fit, man. That burgundy maroon fit with the sneakers and the polo. I mean, cold.
Oh, he nasty.
I'm rocking
Well,
with
I
it.
try to mimic Chris.
Hey, Chris with the swag.
And Chris got
Swag
the
in
new
the
fresh
bag.
haircut for school. Hey, all our children is going to school. You got an event going on today right across the street from Walmart on Highway 18. So if you don't have anything to do, go by there and network and meet some new people today and maybe ride a horse or two. And Southern Styles is putting that event on. He's got some really investors that are engaged in South Jackson. Coach, love you, man. All right.
Peace, Coach.
We've got about maybe 10 more minutes to shut this out. I spoke with Ted Hennepin, and before we go there, did you know that you can text Ted directly, and his number is right on the Jackson Water website? Man, you make things so personal.
Yeah, look, it is. And I will put a caveat out there. I would not recommend that everybody text Ted,
Right.
Because, and I've had conversations with him and the upper leadership. They really want people to get served. And if everybody texts him at one time, he's never going to be able to get to their messages.
True.
Especially right now, they're working on their quarterly report. So I would recommend that if you're reaching out to Ted, make sure that it's because you've got something that like only he can answer.
Right.
Because, and I've had some people share like they've had some bad experiences with Jackson Water getting in contact. I think some of it is just knowing who to call and what. And it's different experiences because I've always been able to get someone on the phone. I've never had that issue, but that's not to say someone else hasn't.
Right.
But I put the number with the call center on there because that's the best number to go to, and they can get a message to him, and they have people that could actually respond back to you. But folks don't realize it's really a small team.
Right.
It's not a lot of folks. It's not like when it was the city of Jackson running it, where there's this massive amount of staff. It's really limited functional staff on the customer service side. It's a lot more of the people that they're having to do the work.
Gotcha.
Because that's where all the funding is. There's not really much funding for the staff. So keep them accountable, but do show some grace because they do want to reach the people.
Right. And that call center number is going to be 601-500-5200. And that's why it's vital that we come out of our comfort zones and participate in class, participate in these conversations, participate in these opportunities to be connected to people, because you being connected, you may know 1,000 people.
Yep.
And that assists us in facilitating information, just like with the CERT program. We have been really fortunate in the city of Jackson that we haven't had a major tornado to hit our community.
Yes, we're blessed.
Our turn is coming. It may not be in my lifetime, but it could occur in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You just never know when the city of Jackson will be bammed. So it's important that when they have these classes and these opportunities to meet people that are connected, become part of the connection. So what I want to do is, and we're challenging and we're also encouraging our community. I spoke with Ted Hennepin this morning with regards to the Blossom Apartment situation to gain clarity and understanding of where we stand. I think that's very important. I always seek clarity and understanding before we start.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked him what is happening. Even though I may think I know what's happening, it's always good to give someone else in that position an opportunity to share with you what they know.
Yep. Are you reading from the
I'm reading
my post?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought so.
If there is a way to charge tenants individually to turn their water back on, and what we can do legislatively, there's 2 ways. Can we individually address it, and can the legislative? And they need to be, and we're going to challenge our legislators to be a little bit more in tune with what's going on in the community. Just like you spoke on, Luke, that the things that are in the Bible don't address the bullying.
Yeah.
Even though it may subliminally. When I'm reading the Bible, I have a hard time because I can't. it's got me all over the place with the thee, thous, and those. I have a Bible that has the summary at the bottom. So I can't wait till we get through that to get to the summary because I am just lost.
Yeah.
Okay, so legislatively and individually to avoid these repeated situations with landlords stealing utility payments from tenants, mismanaging, not being in tune, being distanced from their responsibility and their accountability to their tenants, because the tenant is the one that's going to suffer.
Yeah.
Here is what I learned, and I like the way you wrapped this, Zach. Ted states that the owner of Blossom Apartments has ignored communication from Jackson Water for over a year. That's why it's vital for legislation. This ain't just an isolated incident, and this is not the first time this is occurring. It's going on in other places.
Multiple complexes.
Wow.
Over a year until the water was shut off, which is the first time he has made contact with them. Number two, there is no way to individually charge tenants or account measure for their individual water usage, so they cannot just turn water back on for individuals as if they had their own accounts. My consumers and my clients, please, these are things that we want to take into thought before we sign the lease.
Yep.
Find out what is going on, the relationship on that property. Number three, and I know we kind of in a hurry and not desperate, we're in a hurry to get a place to stay. They're going to be working with the state during the next legislative session. When is that, Zach?
I'm not actually positive. I'd have to look on the calendar.
Okay. To create legislation that can help prevent the situation from happening again. It's important that you know who your legislatures are in your space. We walk around wanting, and as we all say, waiting for someone to save us.
Yep.
Donald Trump ain't got nothing to do with what's going on in the water situation in Jackson. We being distracted. In the meantime, I think Puff Daddy ain't got nothing to do with the water situation. You know,
Stay away from the baby
I've had
oil.
people walk up to me and say, "What do you think, man? If you got time to think about what Puff Daddy got going on, you ain't got shit going on."
Exactly.
I got other things in front of me. I think we as a community, I think it's okay to touch it, but not lay in it. I think we as a community can reach out to the tenants in Blossom Apartments. That's our nonprofits. That's our churches. Who else on that list, Zach?
Nonprofits, churches,
administration.
Yeah, I mean, individuals can help. But when it comes to like helping these apartment complexes and the things that it's going to take to help the community through these situations, I haven't even got to make a post about this yet. We can't get the tenants to tell us what they need. They're afraid of being evicted if they share their maintenance needs.
That's true.
So these landlords, and I was having a conversation with one of our state representatives on the phone yesterday. They had called me to commend me on the work I was doing in the situation and to tell me to stay on top of it. And they were sharing their frustration about this and how they really hope they can get something legislatively. So they asked me to share any ideas I had over the next few weeks before the legislative session on how we could write something legislatively that would potentially help remedy some of these situations. And the conversation I had with them was like, until we make what these landlords are doing criminal, they're not going to stop. We see this at Chapel Ridge Apartments, the Blossom Apartments. I mean, I could just go down name by name of apartment complexes in Jackson. And what they do is a lot of times they're funded by Section 8 or HUD funding. So they are capitalizing on the fact that, one, a lot of the folks that are staying there is subsidized housing. Like at Blossom Apartments, I believe it's 72 units and at least 30 of them are subsidized.
Wow.
Okay.
So they're not going, they know that somebody is not likely to jeopardize their subsidized housing by speaking up.
Yeah, wow.
And so I can't even get them to give me a list of their maintenance needs so I can connect resources to them because they're scared that if they tell people how bad it is, that they're going to lose their space.
Man.
And these property managers and these owners, they get in here and they basically try to pocket as much of that subsidized money as possible so that they're profiting and pimping poverty.
Dang.
It's poverty pimping. So they don't care about that person living in a mold infested unit. They don't care that person doesn't have a working AC, that there's termites or there's bugs. They don't care that they don't have hot water. They don't care that they don't have drinking water.
Man.
I was speaking with people there who shared that the only time somebody from management shows up to Blossom Apartments is to collect the check, then leave.
Wow.
They don't stay in the office. They don't have a maintenance person, nothing. And this is the standard of living that has been acceptable in Jackson for so long. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not from Jackson. I currently live up in Gluckstadt, but seeing things out here, it's it may be potentially the worst housing situation in the country. Like even Detroit has taken efforts to improve those
Detroit's
cities.
actually been making progress.
Yeah. But so Mike, I have a quick question for you. What do you think corrects this? Do you think essentially the current institutions, the current apartment complexes are going to ever be able to change, or do you believe that there needs to be new things constructed to be able to fix these issues and give people another chance?
So there's a few things. One, like I talked about with a representative, we have got to get some legislation that makes it way more stringent on these landlords and property managers. We have got to, and hopefully with the whole administration that will change. Code enforcement has to do their job. It shouldn't get this bad before someone shows up and says, hey, you're not complying with code. There need to be regular visits from code enforcement, interviewing tenants, viewing the living conditions. There needs to be, and people are asking me, like, can we get a list from Jackson Water of what other apartment complexes are about to be delinquent and have their water shut off?
That's a good one.
Because we need that put out so people can get ahead of this. There's an apartment complex off J.R. Lynch right now that have a sign from Jackson Water letting them know their water's about to get shut off because of property management. And finally, we have got to get more advocacy for these people. We need to find out who can legally advocate for people in this situation so that they can have the confidence to speak out and not fear that they would be evicted because they don't know how to fight legislatively or in court or know their rights as a tenant. So it's going to be education as well as legislation. And again, bringing accountability.
Well, Zach, I want to thank you so much for still being the eyes, the ears, and the voice.
Yes, sir.
And my dad tells me all the time, they even nailed Jesus Christ to the cross. You know, out of everything, when they ran out, they still had somebody to blame and shame. Here's a man that's walking through feeding and healing people. So but I just want to thank you for having tough, insulated skin.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank the services. I look forward to bringing you guys back in about 3 months. The conversation was well worth it. Zach, I mean, Luke, you know, I see you out producing. Luke, what is it that you do where people can kind of feed your opportunities to grow a better community in Jackson?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is just anybody that watches this, you know, feel free to like connect on social media. My social media tag is 2 zeros and then my name, Luke David. That's what it. And on Facebook, you can look up Luke David Service. Of course, you know. Anyways, but so what I'm trying to do the most, one of the biggest things I enjoy is just trying to get to spend time with people, learn about people, you know, talk about things and figure out how to make stuff better. And then what I do for work, I work for this event production company. I want to shout out the name, but we have so much business we can't really fit in there more right now.
Hold on, they got to reach out to you through your social media then.
Yeah, but really what I want to be able to get involved in is really just being a part of the community and increasing the good energy and support. For me, a lot, that's through music. I do make music. I like to be able to work with people on different stuff. That's a whole nother thing. But
we actually have a rock record that Luke wrote and produced that we're working on putting out.
Yes,
well.
yes. It's
are you going to host any events? Are you planning anything that could be like community building opportunities or anything in the works?
Anything that I want to do, I'm gonna need help to do. So I definitely am. Like my brother's working a lot of different things. You know, there's probably gonna be stuff we try to do, and also, you know, different connections. Nothing's in the works right now, but you know, we'll make the information available if there is anything.
Nice.
Well, I want to thank the services. One thing about you two guys, ain't nothing boring about you. Nothing boring about you. And Luke, I want you to know, brother, I appreciate you having the same alignment that I have. You got great conversation. Even your choice of adjectives. Yeah, you got great conversations. I always want to make sure that the listening and the viewing audience knows that there is something that even you could be poured into. And he's shared a lot with us today. Zach, always a pleasure being around you,
Absolutely.
brother. Always
My pleasure to serve.
I founded you by showing up at some Kenny Stokes shows, and I'm like, who is this guy? Who's this white guy? Every time I look around, he's here. So I want to thank you. And I reached out to you on Facebook. Man, you'd be surprised just reaching out to people on Facebook to find out a little bit more, be connected more.
Yes.
And I've been some places I wouldn't have gone had you not showed me and extended it to me.
It's about collaboration. It's about sharing instead of gatekeeping.
As my guy, Big John Williams said, I used to ask him, I said, man, how did I get picked? He said, you didn't get picked. You kept showing up.
That's right.
So, Zach, thank you so much, brother, for showing up for the city of Jackson. Luke, it's a pleasure to have you because you all could go anywhere in the world and plant and be successful, you know, whatever success looks like. And we want to make sure that Visions Unlimited Studios, thank you for seeing in us what we may not see in ourselves. This has been Community Connections Conversations. I'm steady adding S's and taking off S's.
Yeah.
And we just look forward to hopefully faithfully in believing that we are one another's lift. Because ain't nobody coming to save us. Ain't nobody coming to save Jackson. So you guys get up off the couch, do some work. This coming Thursday, I think we'll have Jeffrey Stallworth in here. So we look forward to having him and having conversation. I look forward to getting the service. Now, Zach can't come by himself anymore. We got to bring you.
I appreciate
We look forward to
it.
having the service brothers back in here. And we just can't thank you all, community, for connecting, being engaged, and continuing to share what we want to share, which is unity, peace, and love. That's coming from Byron Broomfield.
Hey,
All right.
Love Byron. He cool dude.
Oh, he is super cool. Let me close this out. We're going to get this picture. Anything you want to say to the listening audience and viewing audience, Zach, before we get up out of here?
Hey, man, don't let this fall on deaf ears. Take what you learn from this conversation. Take what you have and get involved, get engaged. And one last thing. We and when I say we, mainly me, but we are trying to get some money raised, as well as in addition to the efforts some other people have done to get more drinking water to Blossom Apartments. It seems like someone may have reported the Cash App for my nonprofit as a scam because people started saying, hey, I wanted to give for this, but it's popping up saying this might be a scam. So I think some enemies may have tried to report it, but you can still give to the We Are JXN Cash App that's on my post about Blossom Apartments donations, or you can reach out to me directly to figure out how you can donate. 100% of those donations will go to getting drinking water for Blossom Apartments, and we will also make sure to get you connected with anyone else who's trying to help them out.
And how many units are at that location?
I think it's about 72 units.
So that means they have no running water.
Yep.
No toilet water.
Yep. It's insane. It's not acceptable. And it's going to take everybody working together to ensure that not only do we help them through this crisis. I can't speak on exactly what I know. I know there's a potential that in the next couple of weeks something gets resolved on this.
Right.
But it's going to be on the part of the property manager deciding to pay what's agreed.
And they've been in this for what, over 30 days?
This has been going on for a while. It wasn't until the water got shut off that the
how long has the water been off, Zach?
I want to say I think it's been over a week now. But it took that to get this person to even respond. So it's sad that they're putting the tenants in that position because they're trying to save money that they shouldn't have had in the first place.
Wow. Community, let's continue to work together. No one's coming to save us, and all we have is one another.
Yep.
If we show love, then we'll receive love. Hey, you guys have been connected with Community Connections Conversation. We'll see you again Thursday evening at 7 p.m., and I just can't thank you all for being who you all are, as superheroes wherever your feet are planted. I got to hit Luke with this. Every now and then someone comes along and shows us who we are and what we might become. It's a matter of being in the right place at the right time, but it does not happen with or for everyone. Luke, thank you for being our everyone.
Thank you for having me.
I tell you all the time, man, thank you for being our everyone.
100.
Yeah, you guys stop listening and stop looking with your feelings and your emotions and be more into your heart about what has to be done and what we're capable of doing. That's it. You all have a safe day today. Got this event going on from 1 to 7. Other events, we want to thank everybody that takes time to put on these events. But at the same time, community, we've got to learn how to participate and assist in making them successful. That's it. All right. Y'all have a great day. Peace. All right.
Y'all be good.
Let me see if I can get my little theme song on here. Oh, Zach will be. He will be producing a video for Community Strong.
Yeah, we gonna make that happen.
We don't have Luke on the camera. We just want his iPhone.
Listen, we got something to say.
Brother, thank you.
Get up, reach one, teach one.
Right. Pull the mic a little closer. We still long.
Thank you a lot, Howard, for just having me here. Because I'm not able to talk about these things, and I don't talk just to hear myself talk. I like there to be something good that comes from it.
Yes, sir.
I'm just very grateful that you've got this whole thing. In fact, you got all the cameras. You know, you got it's a nice space too. It feels comfortable. You know, like the carpet's clean. You got some nice couches and stuff, so it's like it feels good.
It's powerful, powerful. When I see the work that the next ones are doing, then you all deserve all the platform that can be given. And you manage it well, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Hey, you guys get back with us and be sure to support the next ones up movement. Without them, it won't be as all right. Take it for granted if you want to.
Life is hard, but it's fair, and it comes with some lessons. Mental power for an hour, want some knowledge.